What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the third edition of the Flameside podcast. Pew, 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 pew. What's going on, guys?
You guys are so lucky to be back for another week. And so are we. We're looking forward to it. Great show. Again, banger shows every single week on this. I can't believe it. What do we got on the docket today, Flame?
Well, I just think it's interesting. We put so much effort into this podcast, right? So this is the second week in a row that you have chosen to wear some attire that's going to be a basis of discussion. So tell us about your shirt. You excited for tonight?
Yeah, I'm pumped for the game. I'm a little bit nervous. There's a lot riding on this, even more than just the Sixers playing the Knicks. I might be at that game. If the Sixers win, I might go to New York and see you this weekend. And,
What?
we
What?
might do some Flameside live, content, maybe a vlog. Who knows? There's so much, that could go down with this weekend.
You're breaking this plan live to me on stream?
Yeah, breaking it first you've ever heard of it, right?
Nope, nope. And that's the beauty of this podcast is you don't know which turn we're gonna take. That was a lie.
Um,
Pretty good stuff.
but yeah, I might be coming. We might be coming live to you guys from the Garden this
From the
weekend
garden.
if these Sixers win. So of course, I threw on my Sixers shirt this morning. I was like, yeah, I need this. I need this. I was touching it all day. Um, just hoping for the best.
Yeah, and so then when the Knicks are up by 40 in the second quarter, you and I can go into like the FanDuel
Oh,
lounge and we can record a live pod. Maybe we can get Jonte Porter on for like a live guest. We'll be hanging out in the FanDuel
oh my gosh.
lounge. Yo.
I don't think Jonte Porter is allowed anywhere near anything NBA related.
Wait, hold on. So you've been teasing me about your Himothy of the week for a bit now. Is it Jonte Porter?
No,
Okay,
no.
okay.
He is the opposite. He's a Timothy.
He's a
That is a
Timothy.
Timothy of the
He's a
week.
Timothy. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Banned from the NBA? Banned. Like he's
Banned.
done. You'll never see Jonte shoot a three ever again.
Is
He's
that a bad thing?
it's definitely a bad thing for the people that were in his Discord profiting off of him.
Yeah. I wonder if that person got to keep their like they won like $1 million on a same game parlay under on him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wonder
So
if he got to keep that.
I doubt it. Also, apparently he was betting on the Raptors to lose while he was on the Raptors. I don't know. That's a whole
Oh
thing.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff with that, dude. I mean, he like had some injuries. He's telling everybody go unders, and he's out in the first quarter with like something nonsensical.
Yeah. Yeah. People were saying what's worse, like betting against your own team or like faking an injury to get out of a game and like cash everyone's unders on you.
It's, they're both so horrible.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
want to
Okay.
get into?
There's a little bit of a branch on this Jonte Porter topic that I find kind of interesting,
Oh
but
yeah,
we're gonna try not to ramble too much today. But it's an interesting
just
topic. It's
throw it out there
also
real quick, and we'll just move
okay.
past
Well,
it.
it's also a little bit it's also a little bit intense too. So okay, I'm just gonna throw it out there and we can simmer with it in the air for a second. Okay.
Okay.
So what do you think about Jonte Porter banned for the league versus Miles Bridges fucking blamed at the end of the year
Oh
this year?
no. Oh no. Oh no.
Is that a discussion we're ready to have on the Flame Side podcast?
This is like Flameside, maybe some premium content or something. I don't know. Because that I
Oh,
could go on for days about it.
can I give quick takes real quick?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's some stuff out there.
Neither should be playing in the NBA either anytime soon or ever again, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think you're crazy for saying that. Definitely, certainly Jonte. I mean, and it's kind of crazy to say certainly Jonte and not certainly Miles.
Yeah.
That's just kind of wacky.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's so, yeah, I don't even want to get down that route right now
Sure.
because I could go down for Miles Bridges talk like forever and ever. And I don't know
Uh-huh.
if I want to do that.
Sure.
In
That's
terms of
okay.
other, I guess real quickly, that just made me think of this in terms of other, court stuff with NBA players is John Morant got all of his charges dropped for punching a
Oh,
kid in the face.
that's I was gonna say good, but does that mean he didn't do it or like
Well, I guess they said he was in self-defense. I think that's what it was. But
oh
yeah,
huh.
John Morant's chilling.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really followed like very specifically what Ja's done. I just feel like I kept seeing clips of him pulling his gun out, and it's like part of me always felt like that's yeah, like you're being stupid. Part of me felt like okay, like let's maybe this maybe isn't the biggest deal in the world. I don't know. It all just seemed kind of like weird. What do you think?
The gun stuff was weird. I don't think you want like a super exciting player's like image to be, guns and stuff and in the club with his guns. Like I don't think like kid wise, like the NBA is like, I think you just gotta, there's a certain line you gotta, you know, you can't cross it if you're John Morant and
Sure,
you're like, you're very impressionable on young kids and stuff. So I think the gun stuff is, fine. I think it's in the past too, served a suspension, 25 games. It's a big one. It's a shame he got hurt because he like came right back into the game winner. Like he's an electric player. So,
definitely.
but yeah, I mean, I'm
I'm a jaw
happy.
guy.
Yeah, dude, same. I'm happy he's like getting his charges dropped. I didn't see it happen with my own eyes. I have no idea. So I just saw
Yeah,
charges drop. He's one of my favorite players. So
yeah. He'll be around for a while. I'm excited to see him on a good Memphis team soon, hopefully, or just a different team.
probably next season, man. Next season, I think those Grizzlies might be something to watch out for.
Are they? I mean, they're kind of cooking, right? I mean, so Ja, Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr. Should have been an Olympian this year, snubbed. Um, is that the core three we're gonna talk about, or do you think they're gonna add?
Yeah, that's your core three. A lot of people are starting, Nick Claxton to Memphis propaganda or
Oh,
other things
really?
like that. Or it might be a Nick Claxton to OKC propaganda, one
Oh,
of
I can
those
see
two.
that. I can see
But
that.
yeah, I think the Grizzlies are good. They found some players this season that are gonna also help them next year. I think Gigi Jackson's so good and like he's young. He's
Yeah,
young. And Vince
yeah.
Williams, I think this is his second season and he's kind of, proven himself a little bit. So those
Hmm.
Grizzlies next season, man. Whoo. Watch out. I mean, they had a really good record the year before, I believe, like second seed type stuff, or maybe the year before that. But
Yeah,
Grizzlies are here to stay. They're good.
yeah. Gigi Jackson's he seems exciting at least. I know he had the in the Lakers game. He dropped like 30-ish points. Because Jonte Porter I think added those 2 minutes to the game time. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, so in like the end of the third quarter, they reset the shot clock because it was like off or something, and they, without realizing it, added 2 extra minutes to the game. And so the game ended up lasting, an extra 2 minutes, and so like totals went up and shit like that. But you know,
Damn.
yeah, it's not the only case of it happening too. There's like other like decent, like I think this year I forget exactly who it was, but yeah, there was a case of like a meaningless game of time being added when it shouldn't have been. I feel like, and I heard this on a podcast as well in terms of like teams that like protest games, like they're never gonna fucking win those. But like low key, if you protested a game and like you got fucked over in minutes that shouldn't have existed, like that's a fair argument, I suppose. So it's weird. It's weird that that like actually happened and like nothing really came of it.
Yeah. Gigi Jackson just probably got in his car after and hit his posh and everything was fine.
Uh-huh. Hell yeah, GG.
Do you know Gigi vapes?
Now I do.
Dude, come on. You can't be vaping. You're in the
Well,
NBA.
are they gonna suspend him for 25 games? That's
His
not good for
coach,
the
his
kids.
coach sat his ass for
Are you
violating team.
serious?
Yes. Well, it might have not been vaping that time, but Gigi Jackson, he's got some stuff going on.
I mean, dude, like, yeah, you're gonna represent the NBA. I can understand them trying to hold these players to some kind of, standards. But like, what, you can't vape? Like, really? I mean, was he like flexing it and shit, or was it like, oh, someone caught him vaping?
Who knows? I don't know how one really would flex the vape like that though.
True. I guess I just mean like, oh, like
Walking
on his
up with
story,
Ja
like,
like with the
yeah,
posh.
yeah. Ja's got his gun out. Fucking Gigi's ripping the posh.
Oh my gosh, and Jaren Jackson is benching all of his money with a USA jersey on.
That was so funny, dude.
All right, well
All right,
let's do you want to do the Cavs stuff now? I
yeah,
I know you
let's
have
get into
something
some.
going on with the Cavs.
Well, yeah, we got a couple coaching. Let's call it the coaching corner. Will be this segment of the podcast. We got a couple of coaches across two different sports making interesting decisions. Um, First, we got the Cavs. I'm totally blanking on the Cavs coach's name. Can you please help me out?
Cavs coach? Is that
Is
JB Bickerstaff?
Bickerstaff? Yes, Bickerstaff.
Yep.
Okay, so to set the scene, the Cavs in the 82nd game of the year were playing against the Charlotte Hornets. Um, they were in a situation where they could end up as the 2, 3, or 4 seed. Um, the 2 seed is a kind of scary spot right now, or at least it was when they were trying to figure it out, because that plays the winner of the first play-in game. At this point, was shaping up to be Philadelphia versus Miami, because at this point, the decision in question comes between the third and fourth quarter. At this time, Sixers were up big, and the Pacers were up big. So it was clear to Orlando and yeah, the Magic were up big on the Bucks. So it was clear to Cleveland that if they win, they'll get the 2 seed and play the winner of Miami Philly. If they lose, then they get the 4 seed and play Orlando. It was essentially kind of how it worked out. It was a little more in flux because the Knicks were technically losing at this time, so stuff could have gone a little bit differently. But it was pretty clear to them that winning would have gotten them against a tougher matchup, probably Philadelphia / Miami, depending on who wins tonight. Both like not ideal. Both teams that you would probably rather play Orlando than in that case. So I was listening to a podcast afterward, and I didn't really even like know this was happening because like I wasn't paying attention. But like apparently the Cats had like 4 fucking like fourth string big men playing, and it was like a joke. Like they finished the game like Charlotte finished on like an 18-2 run to like come back and win in a very close game. So I'm listening to the Hoop Collective and Tim Bontemps. Sorry, yeah, Bontemps is probably how you pronounce that. I'm sorry if I butchered that. He is talking about how how he's very upset about the Cavs doing this, mentioning things like it's they're not trying to win, it's disrespectful towards their own players, like talking about throughout history, what does it show to your players, what does it show as a team if you say, hey, we want to make sure we play the easiest matchup, like we're scared of Philadelphia, we're scared of this and that. And he brought up the example. There was another kind of famous example with the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021. I want to say when they won the NBA championship, where people were saying, "Oh, you got to do this to avoid the Miami matchup in the first round," and they ended up playing Miami and like smoking them, sweeping them, and going to the finals. So his argument was basically like it's a joke what they did to like throw a game like that, and they should have done what Milwaukee did and what like competent teams do. And he also particularly made the case that towards Donovan Mitchell, a man who they want to keep happy in Cleveland, he said it sets a bad message, a bad precedent, showing him that, hey, we're scared. We don't have the horses. Our team isn't good enough to win. So that's kind of the background of it. Do you want to give initial thoughts?
Yeah, initial thoughts. So the Cavs were for sure throwing this game, correct? Like the players, like did they sub out starters or like was it like, very plain and obvious that they were
Um,
throwing the game?
Pretty much, yeah. They talked to him afterward. He said, "Oh, the plan was always to take these guys out. At this point, we didn't want to put them back in, whatever." But like, it was very clear that they could not have put out like a worse lineup. Basically, like it was.
Interesting.
They had somebody get injured earlier in the game, so like it's a little bit like deniable, like plausible deniability. But like, yes, it's pretty much consensus that they threw.
Interesting. So I think that's one interesting part of it. I think the other interesting part is I think the front office might actually be thinking, we don't want to run into a team like that and flame out in the first round because then, you're pretty much setting in stone that Donovan Mitchell is going to depart from Cleveland this season. Because, after the embarrassing series last year against the Knicks, and then, dropping in another series against either Sixers or Heat this year would be super not good for Mitchell staying there. So I think that's interesting as well. It's interesting that he says that it's setting a bad precedent, for Mitchell that, we don't want to win. We don't believe that like we can win with you. I don't know. It's like weird that he's coming at it with that angle, I think.
Yeah, I think I encapsulated his argument pretty well. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, so I apologize if I got any parts of that wrong, but that's the general sense, and I think I'm accurate in that. I couldn't disagree more. I think to show a guy like Donovan Mitchell that we are optimizing our first round matchup to play the weakest team is nothing but good. If I'm a player, if I'm a star player who wants to know, hey, where do I want to play? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to play with a front office, with an organization who wants to give us the highest chance of winning? Fucking yes, like duh. Like, oh, I want to be with the organization who fucking thinks they're tough nuts and like doesn't care, who they play and when and where and
Yeah.
why. Like that's great and all. I like the confidence, but like we're talking about real life, like ball going into hoop type shit. Like you want to fucking win. And like it's also not so simple to just say, oh, they don't want to play Philly, so that means they can't beat Philly. there's also another wrinkle of truth in this, which is that Donovan Mitchell is still seemingly a little bit injured slash not himself. And it's only going to be better with you over time when you give your star player more and more, days to recover from whatever he's dealing with. Because I think,
Totally.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but I don't think he's shown the same kind of burst that he had
Mm-mm.
earlier in the year when they were winning all those games. So not only do you get a more winnable matchup to get yourself further in the playoffs, but you give your star player more time to come back from an injury he's dealing with and be more of a force. And so that when you do play Boston, when you do play Philly, when you do play the top dogs in the East, maybe you have a better squad to go at them with. Also, when you give things time, shit happens. What if another Giannis injury happens? What if another Embiid injury happens? Like, you want to put yourself in position to benefit from this kind of chaos that occurs, in the playoffs almost every single year. And like to say that it's wrong to want to give yourself the highest chance, even if it's still a small one, even if it is acknowledging that like we have a real chance to lose to Philly. I have no problem with that. I think it's smart. I think you got to do what you can. You're trying to win. You're not trying to fucking be rah rah like it's stupid. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's smart as well. I mean, if I was a Cavs fan, I'd be very pleased. I would not want to be running into the play-in of the first play-in matchup. Like, yikes. You do not want to be playing those teams in the first round. Hell
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah.
Um, I do think, I don't think it's wrong or anything, but if they do lose to the Magic, that is a bad. Then you're guaranteeing Mitchell's out of there.
Oh
That would
yeah.
be embarrassing. Um, but yeah, so is that enough on that? Do you want to go into the hockey side of things?
Yeah. We can move on. I think luckily for them, they're not going to lose to the Magic, so that's no concern. But and we'll get to that later. Switching over to hockey, and kind of a good segue for this, I think it kind of reminded me of it. Is do you remember when the hockey playoff format was like 1, 2, and 3 in each conference was the division winners, and so you'd have like the fourth seed in the playoffs would be like a really good team who's a lot better than the third
Hmm.
seed because the third team just got in because they won like the division. And so like a lot of times like being the sixth seed was good in the NHL playoffs because that means you got the weakest division winner, which usually wasn't the third best team in the conference. So that was always kind of funny because like I remember one time in 2011 the Hawks ended up playing the Coyotes who won the Pacific that year and like they were shit compared to like 4 or 5 seed or whatever and we still lost obviously. So that sucks. But yeah, so that NHL the playoff format used to suck. It's still so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
wacky. It's wacky. I've seen a lot of people come up with like new suggestions for what they should do and whatnot. But do you want to set the stage for the hockey stuff that's going on,
yeah,
or do you want me
sure,
to? Because it's a
sure.
lot of
Well,
stuff, so I'm not
yes,
fully like ready to be like, okay, this was the
yeah.
scenario or
Oh, I
whatever.
got it. I'm on top of this. And for the record, fucking 1 through 8 in the conference is not fucking hard. Like it makes sense. It's easiest format. Whatever. moving past it. Um, So this was the scenario. The Washington Capitals, Detroit Red Wings, and Philadelphia Flyers were all vying for a playoff spot last night. Technically, so are the Pittsburgh Penguins, but they're not in play. They're not. Let's just pretend they don't exist for right now because they're not going to come into the story. Um, the way Philadelphia makes the playoffs is they need to win their game against Washington in regulation. It cannot go past regulation because if Washington gets a point, then Washington will be ahead of them in the standings. They can't pass Washington. It's over. They have to win in regulation. Um, they also cannot have Detroit gain any points. So Detroit is playing the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal. If Detroit goes to overtime at least, that means they are getting a point. That means that Philadelphia is eliminated. The only way they could have gotten out of yesterday still alive was Philadelphia beats Washington in regulation and Detroit loses in regulation. So that's the Philly part of it. The Detroit part of it is that they needed to win their game in any fashion, and they needed Philadelphia to win their game in any fashion. So there's some discussion before the game of, hey, Philadelphia, we could get something weird here because Philadelphia, if they're in a tie game with Washington with 5 or so minutes left, they might pull the goalie in regulation in a tie game. We obviously that'd be extremely rare because teams typically don't risk pulling their goalie, and they never do, obviously. So that would be super weird, and everyone's kind of excited for it. So lo and behold, what ends up happening? This is actually another funny aside of the game, but these games drop the puck in the first period at the exact same time. So ideally, the teams wouldn't be able to kind of know what's going on. Each team can kind of play their own game without being affected by the news of the other. In the Philadelphia game, there's a lengthy review because of a ridiculous called off goal for
Oh my
Philadelphia.
gosh. Nonsense. Nonsense, by the way.
Yeah, so they shot the puck in. The goalie fucking it's a high shot. Goes like this, and like the puck bounces way in the air. Referee loses sight of it. Blows the whistle. Puck bounces in off somebody, goes in the net. And he's like, oh shit, I blew the whistle, and the fucking
Oh
fails
my
somebody.
gosh. How do you not count that shit? Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh.
they chat about it for an hour and they decide actually he blew the whistle, play was dead, puck didn't go in during play, no goal. So that took a long time. So now the Detroit game is far ahead of the Philly game. So likely the teams in Philadelphia are going to know what they need or what is the result of that Detroit game. So 1-1 game in Philadelphia through the third period till it gets late. That's what's going on there. Detroit, they're down by 1 goal until fucking 10 seconds left. When they get an icing, they get the puck in the zone, they score with 2 seconds left in the game. Detroit ties it up. Detroit's going to overtime with Montreal. At this point in time, Philadelphia is technically eliminated from the playoffs. So what they do in the game against Washington has no effect on themselves. There's still a massive impact on the playoff race, though, because if they lose, it gives a spot to Washington. Whereas if they win, they allow Detroit to get into the playoffs or potentially Pittsburgh, I think, the next night, depending on some things. I kind of forget what Pittsburgh's up to, but it doesn't matter. So that's where we're at. Detroit has tied it. Philadelphia's done. All that matters is who wins the game at this point. Now, this is about 5 minutes left in the Philly game when this happens. The announcers in the broadcast kept saying, when are we going to pull the goalie? When are we going to pull the goalie? I'm listening to the Philadelphia feed. They're saying like maybe around 6 minutes left. So we're getting down to about 4 minutes left. And, no one's quite sure what's happening. No one knows if the Philadelphia coach Tortorella has heard about it. No one knows if the players know. I mean, they got the scores at the fucking stadium. I'm sure it's been a lot of people in that stadium had to know. I don't know if Torts knew. We'll get into that. But Philadelphia pulls their goalie with about 3-4 minutes left, and Washington scores almost instantly. And Washington goes up by 1. Washington ends up winning in regulation. That's how the events unfolded.
And so that successfully eliminates the Red Wings and the Penguins. They don't really matter much here, but they would have. But
yes.
They got eliminated by that.
Yes.
So the drama of all of this is, does Torts, pull the goalie, to spite Detroit and Pittsburgh? And to me, I kind of think Tortorella that whole day is, we need to win this game in regulation, no matter what the circumstances are. He's telling the boys, they all know we got to win this game in regulation. That's what we're doing. And, did he know? I find it very hard to believe that Torts didn't know. And in his presser, he said, oh, right as soon as they scored the empty netter, I found out that they scored. And he's like, but I would have done it anyways. And it's just like, okay, this guy, like, and if you guys don't know Tortorella, like, he is notorious for, like, antics and saying shit, kind of being a little bit weird with it in his coaching style. He's very aggressive. He gets angry and stuff. So I just don't take him for an idiot, not by any means. I know that he probably pulled that goalie damn well, knowing that he was going to completely fuck the Red Wings and the Penguins. And I just don't think he cared. But thankfully, I honestly come in on the side of this where I think he has something to fall back on of just like, this is what we were going to do. Like, no matter what, this game, we were going to try to win it in regulation. And like, I don't think it would have been very good for the Red Wings anyways if Tortorella's like, boys, we're done. Tell the whole bench, we're done, boys. Pack it in. Let's just go to OT. I don't think that Flyers team is producing you a W, Detroit. I'm sorry. They go to overtime with Torts saying, yeah, we're done, boys. Go back on the plan that we planned for. We're done. Like, I just don't see that either. I'm sorry. So I don't know. I understand it. I understand why Detroit is like upset and stuff. I totally get it. But you don't want to be relying on late season heroics in game 82 from the Flyers to save your season. Like, I'm sorry. If you're relying on heroics from the Flyers in game 82, You take a look in the mirror. I'm sorry, Red Wings.
Yeah,
Sorry, I had to rant about that, but
that's okay. That's okay.
you kind of think, Torts is kind of pulling some shady stuff here, right?
I don't know if I'd say I kind of somewhat believe him when he says that he didn't know because I could really see him on the bench throughout the third or like in intermission saying like I don't want to fucking know about Detroit. Don't fucking tell me what the score is. You know, I could really see that. Like I genuinely kind of think that's what happened.
Oh, who the fuck cares about
Yeah,
Detroit?
fucking, we're gonna win the fucking game. But so I kind of believe him, but it doesn't really matter because he said I would have pulled him anyway. I think that's a bit. I think it's stupid. Like,
Yeah, that's his presser was did not do him any favors. Like he could have just been like, "Yeah, that was our plan. We were gonna do that no matter what."
yeah,
And like it would have been like, "Nice, dude. You just like
yeah.
won."
I mean, like, I get it. I get it. Like, you have your plan all day. Like, you know, you need to win regulation. That's like the only point you're playing in this game, right? Is like that's what everyone's focused towards. I do think there's a level of like, okay, boys, we're done here. Where it's like, yeah, you're kind of done. Like at this point, like you're not like doing anything for yourselves. All you're doing is like fucking other people over. If you're gonna like still play that game, because like, yeah, it's not like it's not your responsibility to like make sure these teams have a fair shake, but at the same time, it's like what like you're gonna do this just like for your petty like, oh, this is our stuff. Like it just feels a little bit like, okay, like you're kind of fucking everybody else over so you can have your moment kind of thing when you're already out as well, kind of thing. And I don't
It's
know, I just
very
think
John Tortorella-esque to
it
do
is,
something
yeah.
like that.
I
Like
just think
I
it's a
I don't
little,
put it past him. I really don't.
yeah. I don't put it past him either. I just it just feels a little weird, I guess I would say. Let me ask you this. So hypothetically, let's say this Philly game, let's say it is still like 10 minutes behind the Detroit game. Let's say Detroit's up like 4-0 with like 2 minutes left. And like, it's a tie game in Philly. So everyone on the Philly bench and the stadium knows, okay, Detroit's winning this game. We're out of the playoffs. Do you still think it'd be cool to pull your goalie at that point, or is at that point it's like, okay, yeah, now we're definitely only doing this to like fuck teams over, really, kind of thing? What do you
That's a
think about that?
very interesting scenario, and that's a good question. And I do think that if those were the circumstances, I don't think that they pulled the goalie in a tie game. I really
Yeah,
don't. Um, but also, maybe there is some stuff of that torts in the locker room. I don't want to know. I don't want to know because, like,
yeah,
it really was like the Flyers only had one way out of this is they had to win it in reg. So it's just like, knowing Torts, the old school coach, hey, boys, we're giving this game everything we got. We need this in regulation, boys. I just know that that's some shit that was going on in that locker room. There was a couple of boomers on the roster that I'm sure. Oh my God. Eric Johnson scored a goal, and I don't know if he got credited for it. Let me go see because my brother said that Eric Johnson scored, but then Couturier got credited for it.
yeah. I
And
saw Coots get the goal.
it's Couturier.
I think so.
Oh,
Let's
they
see, page
switched it
it.
to Eric Johnson, bro.
Oh, they did.
Okay, damn it. Because I was gonna roast him so hard because they scored that goal and Eric Johnson sellied like so hard. I actually thought he was gonna hurt himself for how hard he celebrated
Thank
that
God.
goal, dude. And I was just like kind of laughing at it really hard because it wasn't even his goal, but I guess it was. So selly hard, Eric. Probably your
Yeah,
last game ever, buddy.
hopefully. Yeah, what a crazy season for the Flyers. I mean,
Oh, we could do a whole pod just on the Flyers this season, man. So
yeah.
much stuff, guys. Oh my goodness gracious.
I don't know. I think to wrap it up on my thoughts of it is it's like uh if you say like, yeah, like I don't care if we were eliminated, we were still going to do that. I think it's a little bit petty. I think that like while you don't have a moral obligation, like I don't think you're in trouble for it or anything. I just think it's like, really, man, come on. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think on since it's my team, I'm kind of just like, yeah, fuck them. But
yeah.
I bet if I was, in a different position and it wasn't my team, I'd be like, what the hell? That is so messed up.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
was
so
my
that's
Flyers with my torts. I'm like, you know what, boys? Do
it's
what you
funny
got to
because
do.
yeah, that's your bias on this conversation. My bias is that after I saw Detroit tie it up, I placed a bet on the Philadelphia Flyers because their live line was like crazy high for a tie game because everyone was like, oh, they're gonna pull their goalie and lose. So I was like, okay, they're not gonna pull their goalie anymore. Fucking season's over. Like they might just win this game like regularly. So I lost my bet in part because they pulled the goalie. So that's my bias. I don't think I would feel much differently, but like it's the bias, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you were maybe like two steps ahead of everybody on this one because
Yeah, I was
like
thinking.
that's a smart bet thinking about it, but like you could have texted me, I would have been like, dude, Torch is gonna pull this goalie. Like I could almost guarantee it. Like
Yeah.
Torch is gonna pull this tendy.
Well, I think it's also a little bit like I saw the line kept moving closer, like further and further towards Washington because people became more and more convinced, oh, they're definitely pulling the goalie now. And so I was a little bit pissed off that I missed that first wave of people getting the good numbers. So I was like, oh, now it's going to be good the other way. But yeah, no, especially because of like you know it happened so late in the Detroit game, and maybe that's why Torch still pulled the goalies because the video coach is like watching the game. Is like, oh, that's not icing. There's no way they're calling that icing. He's like, Torch, they fucking lost, you know. And they're showing
Oh, oh, dude. I hope our video
the
guys are a little bit better than that, dude. Oh,
it was a bullshit icing. It was pretty funny, but
um,
yeah,
yeah, I guess in terms for me, final thoughts on it is, I'm actually a little bit sympathetic towards Detroit fans, but I must say, fuck those Pens. Fuck
yeah.
those
Fuck
Pens.
the Pens for real.
I'm happy about that. I could
Yeah,
certainly say that.
and
Um,
we can all be happy about a team with a negative 37 goal differential being in the playoffs. That's awesome.
well,
That's
see, and
awesome.
I see this is what I saw a lot of that as well is, they need to change the format of like how you accumulate points because
Oh
Detroit
yeah,
has more
win.
wins, correct? But
Yeah,
there's some of them are OT or whatever.
yeah. Well, Washington and like the Islanders are big like OT point merchants, and
And
so
yeah, so a lot of they have a ton of OT losses, right?
yeah, which
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
that's interesting.
They should do a 3-2-1 system. It's so obvious. 3 points for regulation win, 2 points for overtime win, 1 point for an overtime loss. Like a regulation win and an overtime win shouldn't count the same. It just doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. So yeah.
Hey guys, all right, we're back. We had a little pause there. We're gonna get into some playoff matchups, and Shane has a fun idea for you guys, and this is gonna be a lot of fun. So
Yeah,
get into it,
definitely.
Flame.
Oh, thank you. So for this portion of the podcast, we're actually going to be leaving the studio. We're going to be traveling for this part. We're going to be getting in the car. We're going to be playing America's favorite game, red light, green light, with the NBA.com/pick'em challenge. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to go from top to bottom on the round one matchups that are listed in order on the NBA pick'em screen. It's just like West Coast, the East Coast, whatever. And so then Vince, my partner here, is going to tell me red light or green light. Green light means that this series is kind of boring. We don't have much thoughts on it. We're going to give a quick little quip about it, and then we're going to move on. Red light means we're going to have a little talk about this series. All right, you on board?
Yeah, you guys all get it? I get it.
I get it. How
All
about
right.
you? All right.
Seems
So
like we're on the same page here.
yes, let's get going here. We got in the first matchup the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Undefined, which will be the New Orleans Pelicans or likely the Sacramento Kings.
Let's greenlight this one.
Green light, Thunder's going to win this one, no problem. All right,
Zion's dead, whatever.
whatever.
Trey Murphy is
Um,
amazing.
so true. Clippers versus Mavericks.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yellow, yellow, red, red, red.
All right, the car stopped. What
Flame.
happened here? What happened? Why are we stopped?
Wow, we've got some veterans here that need this playoff series to go their way. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Are we driving to an old person's home, or is this just James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George in this matchup?
Yeah, we're actually just pulling up on PG, Westbrook, and Harden having a sleepover. And they're talking about, how they really need to get a ring for their legacies. And, Harden will be looked at so differently if he gets a ring, and Westbrook will be so cool. But, there's some really good players on the other side there, Shane.
Definitely. I mean, you mentioned all those fantastic men. How about the men that are leading the charge for Dallas? You've got Luka Doncic, which is an MVP candidate this year, albeit, in my opinion, not a very deserving one, but that's a conversation
Ooh.
for a different day. You've got Kyrie Irving. You've got some pretty good depth pieces in Dallas, probably. I don't want to say better depth pieces than they've had before because they did used to have Jalen Brunson kind of sitting on the wings, but they got some fun guys over there. They got Gafford, who definitely helps on the interior. He's been a big boon for them, I would say. So we got some fun things going on both sides here.
Yeah, I give Daniel Gafford a boom. Shout out to AJ
Boom!
and Big Justice, guys. Shout out to AJ and Big Justice if you guys listen to them. All right, let's do this. Luka, can we agree is the best player in the series?
I guess.
Oh, Fine,
Yes,
we'll
but
agree with
like,
that. We'll agree with that for the sake of time. And also because it's obvious. And then, okay, so who's the second best player in the series then?
um,
Now, I think that's where it gets interesting. Because do the
uh,
Mavs also have the second best player?
no, it's Kawhi. It's
No.
Kawhi. It's
Okay,
Kawhi.
okay, fine. I'll give it to Kawhi. But then are you saying it's Kyrie?
I'm saying it's Harden over Kyrie straight up.
Wow.
Well, at least like
Harden
Harden
over Kyrie is kind of crazy.
Harden up until March of this year, fuck yeah. But literally, like, I don't know. I guess Harden sucks, maybe. Okay, and this is something that I wanted to get into is how much does performance from an older player matter going into the playoffs? Does it mean that he was taking it easy and making sure he was ready for it? Does that mean maybe he's slowing down? What do you think?
I think you could almost expect Harden to show up like ready to go. He's a professional. He's a pro's pro. He's going to show up ready to go. But what you get out of him in any given night, I think is very much up in question. Last year for the Sixers against the Celtics, he won his two games like outright. He put up two 40-point games. And like, I do think Harden could still do that. Um, it's just I don't really know what to expect. It's just such an interesting series for me because it's like a lot of old players that like made me fall in love with the game with like Westbrook and Harden, Paul George and Kawhi. Like those are like four classics, man. Like holy shit! And we didn't even talk about Norm Powell or freaking Zubac, who are like not that I like those guys that much, but they're a fun team, man. Like I want to see them like get it done. Like it's been a long time coming. So, but I also do like the Mavs. They're fun.
I'm a big Zubac guy. So coming from your devoted fellowship of the 76ers, do you think the surrounding cast for the Clippers is better or worse for Harden, or no difference, and why?
Um, I think it's better. And I think it's better just purely off the fact that you have some more guys that are like, I guess, all-star caliber or previous all-stars. Like last year, like, you had Embiid, who's like definitely better than anybody on the Clippers. But then your next best is Maxey, and then shit, Tobias Harris, and Tobias Harris sucks. So like, I just think like he has a better team overall around him, and he was really good in the pick and roll with Embiid. Like they were killing it last season, but also like you kind of get the same effect with Zoobs. I mean, obviously he's not like scoring the same as Embiid, but like he can set some screens for Harden that they can work with. So I think this is a better team for Harden, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And also, I love seeing Maxi dribble the ball more. So that I didn't get to see that much of that last year. So
Yeah, we're gonna keep this to Dallas and Los Angeles talk. Thank you very much.
wait,
Um,
is that a green light? Should we or do you have anything
is
else?
that a green light? Well, let me get really quickly. So let's assume fully
Wait,
healthy.
somebody's honking at us.
Ah, shit.
No, no,
My
no, no.
bad.
You're
My
good. You're
bad.
good. You're good. You're good.
Fully healthy Kawhi, does that change? If you were told right now Kawhi's playing all games at his like around top level, does that change your opinion of who might win the series, or do you think that Dallas is going to win it regardless?
I kind of have Dallas goggles on, man. I
All
feel
right,
like Dallas has taken the series, but I'm definitely pulling for the Clips.
sure. I'll respectfully disagree with you. I think healthy Kawhi gets it done for LA, but I think no Kawhi.
Wow.
I think no Kawhi, or at least Kawhi injured, will make this. I think Dallas might win in five or less.
I
So we'll
guess I'm
see.
almost even factoring in the fact that like Kawhi does miss series, and so does like certain or does miss series, but also miss games.
Yeah,
Like I'm almost expecting like miss games from PG or Harden or something.
I don't think Kawhi's right. I got Dallas here.
All right, and what's next on the agenda?
So now we're going to take a turn on Albuquerque and we're going to pull into the Minnesota Timberwolves facing off against the Phoenix Suns.
Um, I guess we could do like a slight yield here. We
Yeah, is
could
there a
yield
stop
on
sign?
this. We
A
could,
quick stop sign?
yeah, we could do a stop sign on this turn. All I can hear in my head is Anthony Edwards saying, "They got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels," and
Yeah,
that's all I can hear in my head.
that's tough to me. I'm not a big like. I do think that regular season games can be a little bit noisy in terms of like, yeah, just because you beat a team a lot in the regular season doesn't mean shit. Like I saw a Washington Capitals fan post that they're 2-2 this year against the New York Rangers and how that's going to make them a scrappy team in this series.
Oh,
Like that's just not how it works. That being said, I did see something that was showing Devin Booker being 11-1 versus Anthony Edwards in his career. Um, three of those coming this year, where Phoenix is 3-0 against Minnesota in the season series. I don't think that's purely just like, okay, regular season shit happens. I do think that Phoenix has a uniquely good matchup against Minnesota. I think that they have the shot creators and the offensive ability to get Minnesota's defense out of their comfort zone. And I think they showed a really good ability to disrupt Anthony Edwards and force players like Mike Conley and Kyle Anderson to be the scorers in those games,
Mm.
especially the game 82. That, we got a great preview into this because game 82 was so huge for both teams. So you probably got a good glimpse into how they're going to like handle these playoff games. And it was a lot of forcing guys like Conley to make plays. And Anthony Edwards was forced to either make a ridiculously tough layup or pass it off. And he, I would say, was struggling to make some of those really good playmaking reads. I think obviously he's an amazing player. He's an amazing scorer. I'm not sure he's shown the ability to be that amazing playmaker yet, and I think Phoenix is capitalizing on that. So I'm kind of a big Phoenix guy here.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I think we should move on from the stop sign here. I'm
Okay.
leaning I'm leaning T-Wolves, but we have to go. We have to go,
Okay.
guys.
Okay. We'll come back. We'll come back. We're pulling into Denver versus Los Angeles
Oh,
Lakers.
keep it going. This is a
Keep it
green.
going.
This is a green light.
All right, all right. We're keeping going. Do you have thoughts on the game last night, or are we gonna keep going?
Thoughts on the Pels game last night?
Pels Lakers playing game.
Oh, pretty electric. Pels looked discombobulated. Lakers looked weird, but kind of deadly.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're not good. They don't have it. They can't hold a candle to Denver, though. I'm sorry,
No.
LA.
Yeah, they're gonna get smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Pels were frisky. I didn't think LeBron and AD were giving it their all. I don't know. I not that like they weren't trying, but it was weird. It was weird.
LeBron
Lakers,
airballed that shot at the end, but we don't talk about that.
we don't. Okay, pulling through. We got Boston versus whatever sorry team comes. Well, okay, I shouldn't say sorry because it may end up being Philly or Miami realistically. So I mean, like that's not like a terrible series.
No, I still think this is a green light moment, but it's definitely something that you can go more in depth on. Perhaps we wait until the game plays out tonight and we have a more clear idea.
I think if this is Philly, then we need to circle the wagons. I
For
think if it's
sure.
Miami, then we're gonna keep going through.
All right. Where's
Uh,
next?
Next, we already actually. Oh, fuck. Do you have the maps up, dude? I think we just drove past Cavaliers Magic. Did you see anything?
Wait, red light. No, we're good. We're good.
I guess we missed it. I guess we missed it.
I guess we missed the Cavs Magic series. Let's go, Franz Wagner.
Yeah,
Let's
Cats
go,
and six.
Markel Fultz.
Cats and six.
Orlando Magic. All right, let's green light past this one. Maybe we'll talk about it if it ends up being more fun.
No. This is going to be the next one is Bucks versus Pacers.
Red light. Slow it down.
We're slowing down here. This is a very
Major beef
interesting series.
matchup.
Major
Beef matchup.
There's so many good storylines here. Let me preview a couple of them. You can choose which one. You can go first. Choose which one you want to take off the bone first. We got one, Giannis coming in banged up, gonna miss the first couple games. Two, the beef, and three, Tyrese Halliburton. He's a little banged up too.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about something I heard on a podcast today from the Numbers on the Board podcast. My boy Pierre says that the Indiana Pacers are going to win game one with or without him. And, he doesn't think that he probably thinks that Giannis is not going to play. Don't want to speak for him or anything, but I'm kind of with him. I think Indiana might be sneaky in the series. There's, major beef. And if there's no Giannis, man, shit. Oh, I don't want to see Doc Rivers lose, man. What do you think though? Where are you sitting on the series?
This is such an interesting series. I got to shout out another podcast here, Hoop Tonight, because I watched a lot of their analysis of this series, and I thought it was extremely well done. But I learned a lot kind of about how these two teams are going to approach scoring here. But of course, it just gets so thrown into whack when you consider the biggest pieces from both teams have such huge question marks.
Mm-hmm.
So. From the Milwaukee side, losing Giannis is, I mean, I don't have to say this, but it's obviously massive. You lose a huge defensive presence, which, you're probably going to have to replace Giannis covering guys like Siakam with Bobby Portis, who is not nearly as good of a defender. You're going to have, on the offensive side, it's going to be kind of the Dame show and like some Middleton ISO bullshit, which fuck. And Indiana's guards are frisky defensively. Like they can get around screens, they can make Dame uncomfortable. Milwaukee didn't show the same ability to make Tyrese uncomfortable earlier off in the year. And like I said, my boy did a great job of showing that hoops tonight. But so the reason why I kind of have a huge lingering question is, yeah, I think if a healthy Tyrese was playing and we were like question marks about Giannis, I think this would be a blowout series, honestly. But if Halliburton doesn't have the ability to blow past like Malik Beasley like he was earlier in the year, blow past Dame, which he probably still will be able to. Obviously, Dame's not doing much on the defensive end at this point of the year, but I think it would be easy, and I think that Milwaukee would have to change what they're doing. They'd have to rely on Pat Beverly to be one of the best players in this series because Beverly is their only guard that's somewhat capable of hanging with a guy like
Mm-hmm.
Halliburton. And I do think that's going to be a big element of this. Is I do think Beverly's going to get a lot of run here in the Orlando game. I think Beverly played starter minutes over Beasley, and Orlando doesn't really have any guards that really scare you. So I think it's a really big indicator that we're going to see a lot of Beverly this series, and he's going to be chasing around Halliburton the whole time. I do think that with enough action on the Indy side to try to get screens in the way to separate Beverly from Halliburton, I think they're going to be able to score. But if Halliburton doesn't have the burst, then I don't know. Like they could probably easily figure it out if he's able to. I mean, if he can just blow by him, then like yeah, but he's going to have a hard time if he doesn't have the burst. So I can kind of see both teams struggling to score in that sense, where your best player on offense for Indy struggling, Milwaukee playing a more defensive lineup with Beverly, and now that goes in turn where Beverly is useless on offense, and they're missing. Well, I guess Dame's their best scorer, but I mean, man, when Dame is like the only guy, especially in that Orlando game, which was a big game for Milwaukee, that did not look good. So,
Yeah, I mean, Giannis was eating up the Pacers this year. I'm pretty
mhm.
sure he gave him 60 in a game.
Yeah, he had a crazy stat line.
So like not having him, man, it's really hard to picture the Bucks winning, honestly. Like I know that they have like the star power and stuff with freaking Dame and stuff, but it's just like, I don't feel as good about them, man, without Giannis. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Bucks just because of like the pedigree, but I would not be surprised if a little sneaky Indiana does something here. Especially if you're right a lot with Halliburton, man. If he's healthy and he's playing good, he is killer, dude. He is a
Yeah,
killer player, man. Like that's like 20 plus points and like 10 plus assists, like guaranteed. So it's just
yeah.
like, oh my God. And like probably pretty low turnovers. And it's just like that's going to be hard to deal with because Milwaukee doesn't play good defense on any guards. If any guard this year against Milwaukee has just been like cooking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, because I mean they've had Damon and Beasley be their duo for a lot of it, and that's just like
Who's
that's
Beasley
easy.
playing Dion, bro?
I mean, TJ McConnell, I don't know, Naismith. I mean, dude, he showed a few clips on his show where I mean, yeah, like TJ McConnell going in against Beasley, going in against Dame, like it's not even funny, dude.
He's
Like,
cooking them.
yeah, TJ McConnell's cooking, and like I don't think TJ McConnell's a slouch by any means, but like
No, he's a good player.
you would hope that your starting point guards can hold their own against TJ McConnell. Not no disrespect whatsoever, but they couldn't. They were getting cooked. So yeah, I honestly I and the week break that they're going to get in the Indy for this game, I have a suspicion that Indy is going to beat the fuck out of Milwaukee. I think this is my hot take. If I had one bold take, is that Indy takes this in six or less. I think that the last point I'll make, and this is not based on anything besides my own suspicion, I think the vibes are off in Milwaukee.
Doc Rivers is a fraud, man.
I think the vibes are off. Something's
He's
up there.
terrible. Doc Rivers will blame anything but himself. Will literally blame anything but himself. It's
Mm-hmm.
insane. He's blaming the goddamn trainers and the travel crew. Like he literally said the travel crew isn't, up to par. I'm taking notes. Like what?
Yeah,
And he
that
said
ain't
he
right.
wouldn't wish this job on anybody. What? I mean, he is one of the best though. Like he makes me laugh my ass off. I'm so grateful he's not on the Sixers anymore. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I don't have much faith in him as a playoff coach either. So
No, he has literally done nothing besides winning in '08 with a freaking amazing team.
Do
But
you do you agree with like the idea that like vibes can be kind of have predictive power on a certain team? Like if like something ain't right there, like in
oh
terms
yeah.
of like turmoil in the locker room or whatever, like something just feels off. I feel like that's kind of a bigger thing in like the NFL when like things that are not clicking.
Hmm.
But I think the NBA also probably applies a little bit. I don't think it's just like narrative bullshit. I do think like vibes can kind of tell you. You can kind of you don't have to just dismiss them as if they're bullshit. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are real life people, and like I go off that a lot of the times, man. And especially if I'm betting on something, like if a player's like something good's happening, like I'm so down for stuff like that, man. I'm all about it. Like this guy
Yeah,
just had a baby and now he's cooking, and it's like, oh my gosh, like he's feeling good, or whatever, or the exact opposite, like something just happened horrible in the locker room. Like there's this player that did something terrible and they all hate him or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I do
yeah,
think that stuff matters.
definitely.
But isn't there only one matchup here,
One
correct?
stop left, one stop left. Yeah, and it's gonna be difficult to do this one. We're pulling up to Knicks versus the winner of Philly Miami.
Wow.
We don't know who it's gonna be yet, and we might even have to save this for the Saturday pod. If we can do a
We
Saturday
might
pod,
be there.
we might
I
be there.
I might take a flight. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
it's so tough. I'm kind of a Knicks guy, but I'm also such a big Philly guy. Like,
Bro,
ooh,
you're gonna have to wear Embiid if you come to the game, bro.
I'll wear a Sixers jersey for sure.
I can't be alone in MSG all by myself cheering for Maxi. And I just don't want to get my ass beat out there.
Yeah, I have one non matchup specific thought um about the NBA. Do you have anything left for matchups?
I'm good on matchups.
Okay, I have one thought and one question. Um, I think the Sixers are so unbelievably fucking live for the
No,
big. I
don't
think
say that.
I think the Knicks round one is a very winnable matchup. I think there are being on the opposite side of Boston until
Oh
the Eastern
yes.
Conference
Oh
Final
my
is huge.
gosh.
Like they kind of lucked out with the draw here, assuming they can win tonight, which they should.
And how storybook would it be to see the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, first time making it there in the Embiid
Uh-huh.
era, and then it's against the Celtics of all teams. Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills.
I think he's looked good. The word about Embiid has been that he didn't play against Brooklyn because it was just precautionary. They knew they were going to beat Brooklyn. It wasn't a big deal. I think he's in decent shape. I think he's in good enough shape to get this team far. And I think it's going to be if I had to say like power rank teams of like irrespective of like conference or who like because obviously they have to get through Boston to get to the finals, which kind of like limits their ceiling a bit. I think they're the third best team that has the best chances of winning. I suppose.
Wow.
I think they're after Boston and Denver. I genuinely do.
Wow, what a take. It's hard to argue with that. It really is as a Sixers fan. I'm extremely biased though. I'm
Yeah.
extremely biased.
I mean,
Um,
what are the candidates for it? I mean, you could say Milwaukee, I guess, which like I
one of
would
the
push
West
back very
teams,
hard.
one of the West teams.
Who? LA, Dallas?
Maybe Dallas. I wouldn't say LA. I would say Dallas, or maybe you could talk about the Thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry, but fuck no to the to the Thunder.
Hey, well, I'll take it. I'll take you
I
giving
actually,
my Sixers some hype up, man. I will
I
take
do
it.
I do want to see. So, betting odds looks like the Sixers are in about the sixth spot right now, very close to
What are their odds actually?
it's around 18-20 to 1. They're right in the same neighborhood as a lot of teams.
Wait, so what is
Dallas,
that?
oh,
Plus what?
they're I'm looking at 1800 right here plus 1800. I'm sure you can
Man.
probably get better 18 to 1. They're to be fair, saying sixth place is a little bit misleading because they're tied with the Suns and there's other teams within very close region as them. So they're in the same neighborhood as the Suns, Bucks, and T Wolves, and kind of the Thunder, and then above them are the Clippers and Mavs.
Hey, we'll be rooting for Sixers on this podcast, that's for sure.
Yeah, I actually am pretty surprised that the Mavs have significantly better odds than the Sixers. I would take the Sixers in a head-to-head matchup against Dallas personally.
Well, do you
I
think
actually,
maybe in those odds they're considering that the Sixers
yes,
are yeah,
definitely yes,
that they're going to play Boston just to finish that thought for anybody who's not putting those pieces together. But
yes.
um,
And then one question for you. One question for you.
yeah.
Who's got the best vibes in the NBA right now?
Best vibes, like team wise.
Team wise, best vibes.
Oh, also, I was gonna say this in the Sixers talk. Embiid and Maxi's record together, like on the floor, is like insane. Like
Yeah.
30 in single digits or something like that. But best vibes. Hmm. It's an interesting question. I don't want too much dead air here, so I'm gonna try to talk over it. I mean, I think maybe. Well, my vibes, like, who do I like?
Just like which team seems to be the most like they got good vibes. Like they're all happy. They're all like
I
they're all
mean, I
having
think
a
the
good
Nuggets
time.
kind of have good vibes.
Oh, they do have good vibes. They do have good
I mean, like
vibes.
Jokic is cool. They all kind of like him. He's a big goofy guy. He's so good. Like
Uh-huh.
Jamal Murray's kind of fun. Aaron Gordon's a chill dude. He's having fun out there.
Yeah.
They kind of give me good vibes, and they play like good team ball. Like I love
Uh-huh.
the way they play.
I think I like Dallas's vibes a lot. They seem to all like each other quite
Oh,
a bit.
it's so
Luka,
nice to see Kyrie not like be like the center of like drama. Like he's been able to find like a place where like the media is not like egging him on for shit, and like he could just
uh,
like hoop and be himself. I love it.
yeah. I also kind of think, and I wouldn't have expected this, but I think the vibes in New York are kind of good because
Oh,
I think Thibodeau's a dickhead, but they all seem to. I mean, I know the Brunson podcast is pretty popular, but they all obviously get along really well and
the
shit.
the Villanova connection. They all go way back,
Yeah, yeah,
man. They
yeah.
all go way back. They
Did
do.
you? Sorry.
Yeah, they just do have excellent vibes. I was for a while there. There's like a Julius Randle narrative that like his like on court like body language and stuff sucked, but I'm pretty
Uh,
sure even that was improving like this season. So that would be my only pushback on their vibes.
did you see the viral tweet about like like when they're up by 30 and Thibodeau puts Brunson in like with 8 minutes left or something,
Oh, dude.
and
And
Mitchell Robinson showed the video to Tibbs.
see, well, if you're comfortable enough to do that, like,
Yeah,
that's good stuff. And I like the Knicks too. I kind of hate that we have to play them
yeah.
so soon. Well, if we get to play them. If we're
If
doing this before the Miami game, guys, before the Miami game.
Yeah, I'm really curious. New York was a really, really, really efficient team down the stretch. I wonder if that's going to translate because it doesn't like to me, it doesn't seem like they have the same horses that other teams do, but they've just played so well as a unit. So we'll have to see. Also, guys playing 40 minutes every night, it's got to catch up to them at some point. So we'll see.
Yeah, man, playing DiVincenzo like 50 minutes in that Bulls game, the last game of the season, I mean, that's shit. They wanted
Yeah,
that 2 seed, so you got to respect it, but damn.
I cannot believe the Bulls played their starters through overtime. It's such a fucking joke. Okay, I'm good on NBA. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. So let's get into the closing segment of Himothy this week.
Woo! Wait, are you to
And
read our emails?
oh yes, let me go check the inbox. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. I'm sure we have a shit ton. Let me see here. Oh.
Oh no, check the junk. I think our guy put him in the junk.
Oh, in the spam, in the
Yeah,
spam.
spam. Producer Dan was
Oh,
messing
let's check
around.
that. Wait a second.
Wait,
Flame?
what are you telling me?
Flame, I don't think we received an email this week.
You're telling me we put out the best free content on the internet and we didn't get a single freaking email?
I'm telling you that our fans are frauds. Oh my gosh,
Jesus.
I'm so sorry, fans. I'm so sorry. But send them in, guys.
Yeah,
Flamesidepod at
send them in.
gmail.com. That is so sad. We would love to do an email portion this week, but we did not get any.
What was that email again?
Flamesidepod at gmail.com. All one word,
Ah,
guys.
got it.
Please send it in. We really want to see what you guys want to talk about. It does not have to be NBA. I know we talk a lot of NBA. You guys can talk about like relationship advice. Me and Flame are extremely credible. We can give
Hmm.
you amazing relationship advice, life advice,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah, we're in a relationship with each other, so like we know.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, let's get into Himothy. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? I have such a good Himothy. I'm like,
I know you had a good one, so does it make more sense for you to go first or a second? Because mine's good, but it's a little silly. Not silly. It's not silly,
all right, you
but
go first. I went first last week.
okay. Okay. I am going to go with first overall pick to the Chicago Sky, Angel Reese.
Whoa, 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 wait. They picked Cardoso before her.
Oh fuck, are you serious? They
Yes,
had two
dude.
picks in the top 10?
Yes, they traded up to get Angel though.
Motherfucker. All right. Well,
Angel, that is such a good pick, bro. I might vote for
Angel Reese,
you.
baby. Go Sky.
I might vote for you. Just kidding. All right. So my Himothy of the week is not going to be named out of respect for my Himothy of the week because, just in case Jimmy John's corporate is listening in, I do not want this guy fired because my
Oh
life
no.
would end. But this guy has been a beast in my life for like a year now, ever since I started this job. I'll go to Jimmy John's and there's somebody I know there. And this is who my Himothy is. And initially, he would give me these discounts on subs. I'd pay like $4 for my Jimmy John sub. And I would be like, dude, thank you so much. And like, we're not even like that close or anything. Like, we're close enough, but he would give me a sub for $4. And then like lately, I've been going there and I'm just getting free subs. I walk in, he's like, "What do you want?" And I'll say, "Oh, Vito." And he's like, "Oh, here you go. Make it up for me." Won't even ask me to pay multiple times. And I started to feel bad. I'm like, man, this guy just keeps giving me free Jimmy John's. Like, what the hell? But then yesterday, or at this point, 2 days ago, I go into Jimmy John's and there's some people in there and stuff. And usually there is, and he'll still do it for free, but he charged me. And I was like, like whatever. Like finally I get to pay. Like I actually felt bad because he kept giving me all these free Jimmy Johns. And then I go and get the bag, and there's two subs in there. He gave me two subs for the price of one. And I'm thinking, like, what is up with this guy? And then he's like, yo, like grab a bag of chips or a drink on your way out. And I was like, what the fuck? So honestly, my Himothy of this week is the Jimmy John's employee. I'm not gonna name him. I need him working there. But like I said, we're not even like that close or anything, but I'm getting discounted subs, free subs, extra subs, you name it, and it's been massive for me. So easy Himothy. He could be the Himothy of the year for all I care, but
Wow,
we don't do that. We don't do that. But I just really appreciate it. Like that little kind of kindness is just it goes a long way for me.
that's
So
incredible.
that's my Himothy of the week. I'm really passionate about that one.
That's a great one. I love that. It sounds like he's a chill dude.
Yeah, you
So
know him, Flame. I'll tell you who it is after. Or do you already know who it is? Just because,
no, I have no idea. I'm trying to
yeah, we went to
not.
high school with him.
Huh?
But
What a
yeah,
man. Okay.
like yeah, so that's that. Jalen Brunson won Himothy last week officially. There wasn't that many votes, 3 votes to 2. Jalen Brunson, congratulations, you are Himothy. Maybe I'll even see you this weekend. Wouldn't
True.
that be something? Wouldn't that be something? But anything else from you? Did you hear that?
Um.
Did you hear that AD said that LeBron's nowhere near him and that he's like at this point like in the conversation with Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain?
Wait. He said
That's a
LeBron.
joke. That's a joke.
Oh,
That's a joke. I don't want to mislead anybody. AD did not
damn.
say
I was
that.
gonna say that's a weird time for that quote.
AD did not
Shit.
say that.
Do you think your boys are gonna pull it out tonight?
I sure hope so. Oh, honorable mention for Himothy of the Week is Mikal Bridges because he played 474 games in a row, 6 seasons without missing a game. Boss mode.
Good
Absolute
for
boss
him.
mode. And I think Buddy
474 games of straight mid.
and Buddy Hield like just played like 84 games or something because of like the in-season tournament and like getting
Oh
traded.
wow.
So, shouts out to him. Chet Holmgren, 82 out of 82 this season. People are saying, this guy's too skinny. He's skin and bone. How could this guy play in the NBA? He's going to break his leg in a week. 82 games for Chet Holmgren.
Hmm.
Got to give him some love.
He's an inspiration to skinny white boys everywhere.
Yes, to me. But do you have anything fun to say to end the pod, Shane? Or
What's fun these days? Shit. Ain't nothing fun these days. I'm all about business, baby. We're getting business done. We're getting
yeah,
ready for playoffs. We're getting ready for business moves.
we might have a sick live show for you guys or some sort of content
Yes,
together in the flesh with each other, which could be super fun. We're
will
really
be.
looking forward to that.
We need a pod prayer for the Sixers to pull it out tonight so that we can do a live show on Saturday because with no Sixers, I doubt we're gonna see your boy. So
Yeah, but you will see me end of May, and there will be live in the flesh content together at the end of May. So
mhm.
look forward to
Yes,
that.
we'll do a meetup probably Union Square. What do we say the ticket would be for like 30, 40, something like that?
I think we settled at $50 a ticket, $50 a
50, yeah.
head,
So yeah,
$20 for children
mhm.
and
It,
seniors.
you can email us that money. Just like write down the
Oh,
characters $50 flamesidepod at gmail.com.
email us for crying out loud. What do we got to do?
It's funny. Last week we went like an hour and 40 minutes, and now we're fucking yapping it up after the podcast is like already over. Look at us.
Yeah, I guess the
We're being
pod's
time
over,
efficient.
guys.
We got a game starting in 10 minutes. I'm gonna go for a walk. We're gonna have a fantastic Wednesday.
Yeah, I got to call my roommate back. He called me. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to week 3 of the Flameside podcast. Each week is going to get better. Look forward to stuff, guys. Have a great week. Flame.
Got nothing to say. I appreciate you all endlessly. Love, love, love. See you in the next one.
Bye, guys.